The kitchen light flickered at 11:47 p.m. Denise Walker, 58 years old, stood in her modest Atlanta kitchen, staring at a stack of bills spread across the table like evidence at a crime scene. Her hands trembled as she held the electricity shutoff notice. Outside, a car door slammed. Marcus was home from his second shift, or maybe his third. She'd lost count. The door opened. His footsteps were heavy, exhausted. "Denise," his voice cut through the silence, "we can't keep doing this." She looked up at the man she'd loved for 35 years. His eyes were different now, harder, emptier. "Marcus, we can't lose the lights again. The kids, they need normal." He dropped his keys on the counter with a sharp clatter that made her flinch. "Normal?" His laugh was bitter, hollow. "We've got nothing left, Denise. Love don't pay these bills." He grabbed his jacket, turned toward the door. "Where are you going?" He didn't answer. The door slammed. The house shook. And Denise stood there, alone in that flickering kitchen light, tears falling onto a photo of their grandkids. One argument. That's all it took. But this story isn't about one argument. It's about what happens when the money stops coming, when love gets tested by something as cold and hard as unpaid bills, and when a woman decides that even if everything is falling apart, she won't let it take her family down. My name is Denise Walker, and this is how I almost lost everything, and what I learned that saved us. You know, there was a time when money wasn't the monster in our house. 3 years ago, our backyard was full of laughter. Marcus at the grill, flipping burgers, making jokes that weren't even funny, but we all laughed anyway. Our daughter Lisa and her kids running around, my grandkids Jasmine and Deshawn chasing fireflies in the Georgia heat. That was before Marcus lost his job at the factory, before the medical bills from Lisa's childhood asthma came back to haunt us, before everything started crumbling. I remember the exact moment everything changed, March 15th, 2021. Marcus came home at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. He was never home at 2 p.m. His face said everything before his mouth could form the words. They're shutting down the entire Atlanta plant, moving operations to Mexico. 23 years. He'd given them 23 years. I held him that night while he cried. Marcus never cried, but that night I felt his tears soak through my shirt, felt his body shake with the kind of pain that has no sound. We thought we'd be okay. We'd save some money. We had my job as a nurse's aide at the senior care facility, $18 an hour, 40 hours a week when they gave me full hours. Do the math. That's about $1,280 a month before taxes. Our rent was $1,250, just the rent. I started doing calculations in my head while I was supposed to be sleeping. Rent, $104.50, utilities, $320 car payment, $280 car insurance, $180 groceries, $400 gas, $150 phone bills, $20, that's $29.5 before anything else. Before medical bills, before the grandkids needed school supplies, before life happened. I made $2,080 a month. We were already drowning, and we hadn't even started sinking yet. 6 months after Marcus lost his job. "Grandma, I need new shoes for PE class." Jasmine, 8 years old, holding up her sneakers with holes in the toes. The same sneakers I'd bought her 4 months ago from the discount store. "Baby, those still fit you, don't they?" "Yeah, but..." "Emily and Kayla make fun of me. They say my shoes are poor people's shoes." 8 years old, and she already knows what poverty tastes like. I smiled. That smile I'd perfected. The one that hides everything. "You know what, baby? Those shoes are just fine, and anybody who judges you by your shoes isn't worth your time." She nodded, but I saw the hurt in her eyes. She didn't understand that I had $23 in my checking account until payday. She didn't understand that just fine was all we had. After she left for school, I opened my wallet. Empty, completely empty. I cried in the bathroom for exactly 5 minutes. Then I washed my face, put on my scrubs, and went to work. Because that's what you do. You keep moving. The argument started small. Denise, why did you buy name brand cereal? The store brand is $2 cheaper. Marcus, why are you spending money on lottery tickets when we can't even pay the water bill? Small arguments, little cuts, but small cuts bleed too, and we were bleeding out. One night after I'd worked a double shift, 16 hours on my feet, cleaning bedpans, turning patients, smiling through exhaustion, I came home to Marcus, sitting in the dark, not watching TV, not reading, just sitting. Marcus? Your job, he said, his voice flat, emotionless. Your safe job with your guaranteed hours. That's why we're here. You should have taken risks, should have done more. My body got cold. Excuse me? You heard me. You've been playing it safe your whole life, Denise, and look where it got us. I'm 60 years old and I can't even provide for my own family. So, this is my fault? I'm the one who shows up every day, Marcus. I'm the one who... Who what? It costs $18 an hour. Congratulations, Denise. We're still broke. I didn't slap him. I wanted to. God knows I wanted to. Instead, I picked up my purse and walked out. I drove to the Kroger parking lot on Ponce de Leon Avenue and just sat there in my car, engine off, hands gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. When did we become these people? When did the man I loved for 35 years become someone who could wound me with words sharper than any knife? Money did this. Money turned us into strangers. I started taking night shifts without telling Marcus. The facility needed overnight coverage. They paid an extra $3 an hour, $21 an hour to watch over sleeping patients, to be there when Mrs. Patterson had her nightmares about her dead husband, to hold Mr. Chen's hand when he couldn't remember his children's names. I'd work my regular 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. shift, go home, pretend to go to bed, then slip out at 10 p.m. for the overnight shift. I got maybe 3 hours of sleep a day. I started forgetting things, simple things. Did I give Mrs. Patterson her medication? Did I lock the supply closet? What day was it? One morning, I was so exhausted I almost fell asleep at a red light on Moreland Avenue. A horn blaring behind me snapped me awake. I was killing myself, slowly, silently. But at least I was bringing in money. At least I was doing something. My daughter Lisa called me at work. "Mom, I can't do this anymore." "Can't do what, baby?" "I can't keep asking you for help. I can't keep watching you kill yourself for us." "I can't." Her voice broke. "I can't watch you and Dad fall apart." "Lisa, you think I don't see it? You think the kids don't feel it? Deshaun asked me last week why Grandma and Grandpa don't smile anymore. He's 10 years old, Mom. 10. I closed my eyes, leaning against the wall in the staff break room. "We're going to be okay, baby." "No, Mom, we're not. And you need to stop pretending we are." She hung up. I stood there for a long time, phone in my hand, wondering when I'd become the kind of mother who lies to her own daughter. It was a Thursday night. I remember because Thursday was trash day, and I'd forgotten to take out the trash. Again, Marcus was packing a bag. "What are you doing?" "I'm going to stay with Jerome for a while." Jerome, his cousin, the one who lived in a studio apartment in Decatur and drank too much on weekends. "You're leaving?" He didn't look at me, just kept packing. Shirts, socks, his electric razor. "Marcus, look at me." He stopped, turned, and the look in his eyes. It wasn't anger. It was worse. It was defeat. Love ain't enough, Denise. I thought it would be, but it ain't. You can love someone with your whole heart and still watch everything fall apart. I can't do this anymore. I can't watch you work yourself to death. I can't stand seeing my grandkids go without them. I can't. His voice cracked. I can't be the man you married. That man is dead. The factory killed him. This city killed him. Poverty killed him. So, you're just going to run away? I'm not running. I'm drowning, Denise, and I'm tired of pulling you under with me. He picked up his bag. I didn't stop him. The door closed quietly this time. No slam, no drama. just silence. I sat down at the kitchen table, surrounded by bills I couldn't pay, in a house that felt like a tomb, and I made a decision. If I was going to drown, I was going to fight all the way down. I found an old notebook in the junk drawer, the one Lisa had used for middle school math homework 10 years ago. I ripped out the used pages and started fresh. At the top of the first page, I wrote, budget. It felt like such a small word for such a massive problem, but I started writing, income, my regular pay, $2,280 month. Night shifts, 3x per week. $756 month total, $3,636 month expenses. Rent, $1,450. Utilities, average. $320 car payment, $25 car insurance, $180 groceries, $400 gas, $150 phone, $20 medical bills, minimum payment, $85 a credit card, minimum, $65 total, $3,055. I stared at those numbers, $581 left over. It sounded like a lot until you realized that it didn't include clothes, school supplies, car repairs, medical emergencies, or any of the 1,000 little expenses that pop up when you're poor. Being poor is expensive, but at least I knew where I stood. At least I had numbers instead of fear. My coworker Sandra cornered me in the break room one afternoon. "Girl, you look terrible. When's the last time you saw a doctor?" "I'm fine." "You're not fine. You're running yourself into the ground. What happens if you get sick? What happens if you can't work?" "I can't afford to think about that." She pulled out a pamphlet from her purse. The facility offers short-term disability insurance. It's like $40 a month. If you get sick or hurt and can't work, it pays 60% of your salary. I looked at that pamphlet like it was written in a foreign language. "Sandra, I can barely pay my bills now. You want me to add another $40 a month? I want you to protect yourself, because right now you're one bad fall away from losing everything." I took the pamphlet, shoved it in my pocket. I haven't looked at it for 2 weeks. I lasted exactly 17 days doing double shifts. On day 18, my body made the decision my mind wouldn't. I was helping transfer Mr. Washington from his bed to his wheelchair. Standard procedure. Something I'd done 1,000 times, but I was so tired, so completely exhausted. My back seized, not a little twinge, not a warning, a full, complete, paralyzing seizure of every muscle in my lower back. I dropped to my knees, gasping, "Denise! Oh Lord, somebody help!" They called an ambulance. I begged them not to, but they did anyway. The ER doctor was younger than Lisa. He looked at my chart and frowned. "When's the last time you slept a full night?" "I don't know. A month ago?" "Mrs. Walker, your body is shutting down. You have severe muscular strain, you're dehydrated, your blood pressure is dangerously high, and frankly, I'm surprised you're even conscious right now. I need to get back to work." "You're not going anywhere. I'm admitting you for observation and mandatory rest." "I can't afford this." He looked at me with something between pity and frustration. "You can't afford not to." They kept me for 2 days. 2 days of forced rest, IV fluids, muscle relaxers, and the crushing knowledge that every hour I was in that hospital bed was money I wasn't making. The bill arrived 3 weeks later, $4,789. I laughed when I saw it. Actually laughed, the kind of laugh that sounds like crying. He showed up on a Saturday morning. I was sitting on the porch, back still aching, trying to figure out how to pay a hospital bill that was more than I made in a month. His car pulled up. He got out slowly like he was walking into enemy territory. "Heard you were in the hospital. News travels fast." "Lisa called me, said I needed to come home." "Did she tell you to, or did you want to?" He sat down next to me. We didn't look at each other. Little bit of both. We sat in silence for a long time. The morning was cool for Atlanta. Birds were singing. The world kept turning even though ours had stopped. "I'm sorry," he said finally. "For what? For leaving? For blaming me? For giving up?" "Yes." I turned to look at him then. Really look at him. He'd lost weight. His eyes had That same exhausted look I saw in the mirror every morning. I'm scared, Denise. I'm 60 years old and I'm scared every single day. Scared I'll never work again. Scared we'll lose everything. Scared you'll realize you married a failure. You're not a failure, Marcus. Then why does it feel like I am? I didn't have an answer to that. That night, I showed Marcus the notebook. He looked at my budget, my calculations, my desperate arithmetic. You've been keeping track of everything? Every penny. For 3 months now. He flipped through the pages. I'd tracked every expense, every payment, every missed opportunity. You paid for Jasmine's shoes out of your lunch money. She needed shoes. You bought groceries on a credit card. We needed to eat. Denise, his voice broke. How did we get here? One bill at a time, Marcus. One unexpected expense. One missed paycheck. That's how poverty works. It's not dramatic. It's just steady. He closed the notebook, held it like it was something precious. What do we do now? And that's when I told him about Sandra's insurance pamphlet, about the short-term disability insurance I'd finally signed up for after my hospital stay, about the life insurance policy I'd been researching that could protect him and Lisa and the grandkids if something happened to me. You're planning for the worst? I'm planning for reality, Marcus, because the worst is already here. We're living it. I didn't have a miracle solution. I didn't find a bag of money. I didn't win the lottery. What I had was a notebook, a plan, and the stubborn determination that got me through 58 years of life in America as a Black woman who'd seen harder times than this. Step 1, stop the bleeding. I cut our grocery bill from $400 to $250 by meal planning, buying in bulk, cooking everything from scratch. Marcus complained at first about the same rotation of chicken, rice, and beans. Then he started helping me cook. Step 2, face the insurance conversation. I signed up for the facility's health insurance. It cost $200 a month. My take-home pay dropped. But the next time I had a doctor's appointment for my back, I paid $30 instead of $150. When Lisa's son Deshaun broke his arm falling off his bike, her insurance, which I'd helped her understand and sign up for, covered most of it instead of all of it going on a credit card, the disability insurance I'd gotten. 2 months after I started it, my back went out again. I had to miss a week of work. Instead of losing a whole week's pay, I got 60%. It wasn't everything, but it was something. Something is better than nothing when you're drowning. Step 3, Marcus's side gig. My husband worked in manufacturing for 23 years. He knew machines. He knew repairs. He started fixing things for neighbors, lawn mowers, washing machines, small engines. It wasn't much, maybe $200, $300 a month. But every dollar helped. And something else happened. He started smiling again. We need to save $1,000, I told Marcus one night. We can barely pay bills, Denise. How are we supposed to save? $20 a week. That's all. $20. That's $80 a month. In 1 year, that's $960, close enough to $1,000. He looked at me like I was crazy. But here's what happened. We saved that $20. Sometimes it came from Marcus's side gigs. Sometimes I find it by bringing lunch from home instead of buying it. Sometimes we just didn't go anywhere that cost money. It took us 14 months, not 12. We had setbacks. We had weeks where we couldn't save. We had a month where we had to use some of it for emergency car repair. But eventually, we had $1,000 in a savings account. $1,000. I cried when we reached it. Marcus thought I was being dramatic. But that $1,000 meant that when the water heater died, we didn't have to put it on a credit card at 22% interest. We paid cash. We took the hit, but we didn't dig the hole deeper. My daughter came over one Sunday afternoon. "Mom, I need to talk to you." Here it comes, I thought. Another crisis, another expense. I got a promotion at work. I stared at her. What? They made me a supervisor. It's a $3 an hour raise. It's not much, but I hugged her so tightly she couldn't breathe. But here's the thing, Mom. I got the promotion because I wasn't panicking anymore. Because you taught me how to budget, how to plan, how to stop living in crisis mode. I taught you? You showed me your notebook. You showed me that you can't control everything, but you can control your response. You taught me that being poor doesn't mean being stupid with money. It means being smarter. This is what they don't tell you about poverty. It's not just about money. It's about dignity. It's about believing you deserve better. It's about making choices even when all your choices are bad and picking the least bad one. During the worst of it, I almost fell for a pyramid scheme. A woman from church, Sister Patricia, pulled me aside one Sunday. "Denise, I know you're struggling. I have an opportunity. You can make an extra $2,000 a month working from home." "Doing what?" "Selling health supplements. You just need to buy the starter kit for $500, and then you recruit other people to sell under you, and you make money from their sales too." It sounded perfect. Easy money. Financial freedom. I had the credit card application filled out before I showed it to Marcus. "This is a scam, Denise." "It's not a scam. Sister Patricia from church is doing it." "How much is Sister Patricia making?" I didn't have an answer. Marcus pulled up his phone, typed in the company name, showed me article after article about how pyramid schemes work, how they prey on desperate people, how 99% of people lose money. But I need it. You need to not lose $500 we don't have on a fantasy. I was angry. I wanted to believe in the easy solution, but he was right. I never bought that starter kit. I saw Sister Patricia 3 months later. She'd stopped going to church. Later, I heard she'd lost $3,000 trying to make the scheme work. There are no shortcuts. Anyone selling you shortcuts are selling you a trap. There's a payday loan place on every corner in poor neighborhoods. Have you noticed that? They're never in the rich parts of town. One particularly bad week, car registration due, electric bill behind, no food in the house. I walked into one. "I need to borrow $300. The woman behind the bulletproof glass barely looked up. "Interest rate is 39%. You pay back $387 in 2 weeks. "Wait, what?" 39% annual percentage rate. For a 2-week loan, that's $87 in fees. I did the math in my head. If I couldn't pay it back in 2 weeks, and let's be honest, I probably couldn't, then I'd owe even more. The debt would spiral. I walked out. Instead, I called the electric company, told them the truth. "I can't pay the full amount, but I can pay half now and half next week." They worked with me, set up a payment plan. The payday loan would have cost me $87 in fees. The electric company charged me nothing for the payment plan. But you know what the payday loan place had that the electric company didn't? Immediate relief. No judgment. No explanation needed. That's why people use them. Not because they're stupid, because they're desperate, and desperation makes you do math differently. Marcus and I were eating dinner one night. I'd made chicken and rice again, 4th time that week. "I'm embarrassed," he said suddenly. "About what?" "Everything. Being 60 and broke, having my wife work by herself when she is sick, not being able to buy my grandkids Christmas presents, all of it." "Marcus." "No, let me finish. I'm embarrassed, and I'm angry, and I'm tired, and I don't know how to fix any of it." I put down my fork. "You think I'm not embarrassed? You think I don't feel shame every time I can't afford something? Every time I have to say no to the grandkids? Every time someone at church asks how we're doing and I have to lie? So what do we do with it? The shame. Where does it go? We use it. We let it push us to do better, to plan better, to be wiser. But we don't let it define us." Easier said than done. But that conversation changed something. We stopped hiding our struggle from each other. We started talking about money without it turning into a fight. 6 months after I signed up for disability insurance, I threw my back out again, worse this time. The doctor said 6 weeks of rest. 6 weeks. I cried in his office, not from pain, but from fear. I can't miss 6 weeks of work. I'll lose my job. I'll lose everything. The doctor looked at me over his glasses. Mrs. Walker, you're going to lose more than your job if you don't let your body heal. You're 60 years old. Your body is telling you to stop. I called the insurance company from the hospital. They processed my claim in 3 days. I got 60% of my salary for 6 weeks. It wasn't everything, but it kept us afloat. That $40 a month I'd resented paying, it saved us $4,000 in lost wages. Marcus said to me later, "You were right about the insurance." I was terrified about the insurance, but sometimes being smart looks like being scared and doing it anyway. We rent. We've always rented. I never could save enough for a down payment, but we had stuff, furniture, appliances, the TV Marcus bought. With his bonus last Christmas from the factory, the apartment below ours flooded. Water damage so bad it came up through our floor, ruined our couch, destroyed boxes of photos, soaked into our carpet. The landlord's insurance covered the building, not our stuff. We had nothing. I sat in our living room looking at the stains water on our floor, and something broke in me. We need renter's insurance. Denise, that's another expense. No, this is why we need it, so this never happens again. It costs $15 a month. $15. Less than we spent on coffee, less than a fast food meal. We signed up next week. 3 months later, a pipe burst into our apartment. Same water damage, same disaster. But this time, the insurance paid for everything. New couch, new carpet, even money for temporary housing while they fixed it. $15 a month saved us thousands. Lisa called me on Tuesday afternoon. "Mom, they found something on my mammogram." The world stopped. "What do you mean when they find something?" "I have to go back for more tests. They said it might be cancer." I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. Just stood there in my kitchen, phone pressed to my ear while my daughter cried at the other end. "Baby, we're going to figure this out. Whatever it is, we'll handle it." But inside, I was calculating. Cancer treatment, surgery, chemotherapy. How much? How would we pay? Would she lose her job? What about her kids? The tests came back negatively. Benign, not cancer. But that scare did something to me. I researched critical illness insurance. It's a policy that pays out a lump sum if you're diagnosed with something serious. Cancer, heart attack, stroke. It costs $50 a month for Lisa. I helped her sign up. "Mom, I can't afford this." "You can't afford not to. What if it had been cancer? What if you couldn't work? This pays out $25,000 immediately. That's breathing room. That's time to heal without worrying about bills." She signed up. We pray we never need it, but we sleep better, knowing it's there. 4 months after Marcus came back home, we had our first real family dinner. Lisa and the kids, Marcus and me, everyone around the table. I made my mama's recipe for mac and cheese, the real kind, not the box. Made roast chicken, green beans, cornbread, nothing fancy, but it was ours. Marcus said grace. His voice was steady. "Lord, thank you for this food. Thank you for this family. Thank you for getting us through the hard times and teaching us what matters. Amen." Amen? We ate. We laughed. Jasmine told a story about school. Deshawn showed us a drawing. It was normal. Beautiful, boring normal. Lisa caught my eye across the table. She smiled. This, right here, was worth every sleepless night, every double shift, every time I wanted to quit but didn't. I still keep the notebook. It's beat up now, coffee stains, bent corners. Some pages are falling out, but I look at it sometimes and see how far we've come. We're not rich. We're not even comfortable. But we're not drowning anymore either. We have a small emergency fund. Not much, but enough for small crises. We have insurance, health, disability, life, renters, all of it. We have a plan, budget, goals, things we're saving for. We have hope. On the last page of the notebook, I wrote this: "Love wasn't enough, but love plus wisdom, that's what saved us. Love tells you to keep fighting. Wisdom tells you how. Marcus's repair business grew. Not into anything huge. He's not going to be rich in fixing lawnmowers, but he made enough that he could put $200 a month into savings, his own savings, money that made him feel like a man again. He opened a business checking account, got business cards printed at FedEx, put an ad on Facebook Marketplace. Walker's Repair Services, fast, fair, honest. That's my Marcus. Fast, fair, honest. One day he came home grinning. What happened? Made $150 today fixing a washing machine. Woman gave me a $50 tip. Said her husband died last year and she didn't know who to call, and I was kind to her. He handed me the $50. Put this in the fund. I cried. Right there in our living room, I cried. Not because of the money, because my husband was smiling again. Lisa called me on a Sunday. Mom, I paid off my credit card. Which one? All of them. I almost dropped the phone. What? The promotion helped, but more than that, I used your budget system. I stopped spending money on things I didn't need. I packed lunch instead of buying it. I said nothing to things, and I paid off $800 in credit card debt in 8 months. Baby, I'm so proud of you. You taught me that being broke doesn't mean being broken. You taught me that I could make a plan and stick to it. You taught me that I deserve better than living paycheck to paycheck. After we hung up, I sat there thinking about generational change. I grew up poor. My mama was poor. Her mama was poor. But maybe Lisa's kids wouldn't be. Maybe Jasmine and Deshawn would learn early what took me 58 years to figure out. Maybe that's how you break the cycle. One lesson at a time. I need to be honest about something. Insurance isn't a magic fix. When Marcus finally got a part-time job at a warehouse, we signed him up for life insurance through his work. It was cheap, $20 a month for $50,000 in coverage. We thought we were covered. Then we read the fine print. The policy didn't cover death from pre-existing conditions for the first 2 years. Marcus has high blood pressure, has had it for 15 years. If something happened to him in the first 2 years, I'd get nothing. Also, the policy was tied to his job. If he left or got fired, coverage ended. We learned that you have to read everything, every policy, every clause. We ended up getting a separate term life insurance policy. Cost more, $45 a month, but it was portable. It went with him no matter what, and it covered everything after a waiting period. The point is, insurance isn't a scam, but you have to be smart about it. You have to understand what you're buying. Ask questions, read the papers. If you don't understand, ask someone who does. We found a local insurance broker, a black woman named Michelle, who explained everything in plain English. She didn't sell us more than we needed. She just helped us understand. Find your Michelle. Find someone who explains without selling. This part gets technical, but it matters. We had a life insurance policy, $50,000. Sounds like a lot, right? But I asked Michelle, what's $50,000 going to be worth in 20 years? She pulled up a calculator. With 3% inflation per year, $50,000 in 20 years will have the buying power of about $27,000 today. I stared at her. So we're paying for coverage that gets weaker every year? Unless you get a policy with an inflation protection rider. It costs a bit more, but your coverage increases with inflation. We upgraded. It costs an extra $12 a month. But here's what I learned. You have to think about the future, not just today. What protects you now might not protect you later. Plan for the long game. Always. Remember when I said we got critical illness insurance for Lisa? Well, 2 years later, Marcus had a heart attack. Not a big one, thank God. The doctors called it a warning shot. But he spent 3 days in the hospital. I had to take 6 weeks off work. We had his health insurance. It covered most of the hospital costs, but not all. Out-of-pocket maximum, $6,500. $6,500. We didn't have that. Even with our emergency fund, we didn't have that. But Marcus had critical illness coverage through his work. We'd signed him up for it a year earlier. Cost $35 a month. The insurance paid $10,000. $10,000, one lump sum, no questions asked. We paid the hospital bill, had money left over for groceries while he recovered, didn't have to touch our emergency fund. That $35 a month saved us from complete financial ruin. When people ask me if insurance is worth it, I tell them that story. Marcus's repair business was doing well. He was making about $500 a month fixing things. Not enough to live on, but enough to matter. Then he had a heart attack. 6 weeks of no work, no income from his side business. We lost that $500 a month just when we needed it most. Michelle, our insurance broker, asked us, "Did you have business interruption insurance?" "What's that?" "It covers lost income if your business has to stop because of illness, injury, or disaster. Small business owners need it." We didn't have it. It would have cost maybe $20 a month. Would have paid Marcus $300 a month during his recovery. We lost $3,000 in income we could have protected for $120. Lesson learned. When Marcus went back to work, we got the coverage. You can't predict disaster, but you can prepare for it. Insurance isn't just buying it once and forgetting about it. Every year, policies are renewed, costs change, life changes. We had to review everything annually with Michelle. Your health insurance premium is going up by 15%. Why? National trend. Healthcare costs are rising, but there's a different plan with a higher deductible that costs less per month. Should we switch? Depends. You went to the doctor a lot this year. Low premium, high deductible plan would cost you more overall. Stay where you are. These conversations matter. You have to stay on top of it. Insurance isn't passive. It's active protection that requires attention. Jasmine came to me one afternoon. She's 12 now. "Grandma, we learned about budgets in school today." "Oh yeah? What did they teach you?" "That you should save 10% of everything you make, and that you should have insurance. And credit cards are dangerous." I smiled. "Sounds like you have a good teacher." The teacher said most people don't learn this stuff until they're adults and already in trouble. She said we're lucky to learn it now. I thought about that for a long time after she left. I didn't learn about budgets until I was 58 years old and desperate. Jasmine was learning at 12. Maybe that's the real victory. Not that we survived, but that we're teaching the next generation how to thrive. One Saturday morning, I called everyone together. Lisa and her kids, Marcus, everyone sits around our table. "I want to talk to you all about something important." I pulled out the notebook, the budget, the insurance policies. I've built the whole system over the past 3 years. When things got bad, I was drowning. I thought love would save us. I thought working harder would fix everything. I thought if I just sacrificed enough, everything would be okay. They were all quiet, listening. But I learned something. Love isn't enough. Hard work isn't enough. Sacrifice isn't enough. You need wisdom. You need planning. You need to make smart choices even when you're scared. I opened the notebook to the first page. This notebook saved our family, not because of anything magic in it, but because it forced me to face reality instead of running from it. I handed it to Lisa. "I want you to make your own notebook. I want you to teach Jasmine and Deshawn. I want them to understand money before they're drowning in it." Lisa took the notebook, held it like it was precious. "Mom, I already started one 2 months ago, because of you." I cried, again, because sometimes joy and pain feel exactly the same. Our victories weren't dramatic. We didn't win the lottery, didn't get a huge inheritance, didn't suddenly become rich. We just got stable. Marcus's warehouse job became permanent. Benefits, consistent hours. My back healed. I went back to regular shifts. No more overnight doubles. Lisa got another promotion. She started building her own emergency fund. The grandkids stopped asking for things we couldn't afford, not because they didn't want things, but because they understood better. Small victories, incremental progress. But that's how real change happens, not in explosions, but in tiny daily choices that add up over time. We'd been budgeting strictly for 2 years. Every dollar accounted for, every expense planned, no frivolous spending. It was exhausting, necessary but exhausting. One day, Marcus said, "I think we should celebrate." Celebrate what? Making it, surviving, still being here. We looked at the budget. We had $47 left over for the month after everything was paid. "Let's go to dinner," I said. "A real dinner, somewhere nice." We went to Pascal's on Northside Drive, the one that's been there forever. Ordered. Fried chicken, collard greens, mac and cheese, cornbread, peach cobbler. The bill was $63. We went over budget by $16, and it was worth every penny because we'd learned something crucial. You can't live in crisis mode forever. You have to remember why you're fighting. That meal reminded us we were still alive, still together, still human. Our neighbor Dorothy knocked on our door one evening. She'd lived in the apartment across the hall for years. I worked as a hotel housekeeper, single mom with 3 kids. "Denise, can I talk to you?" "Of course, honey. Come in." She sat at our kitchen table, same spot where I'd cried so many nights. "I'm drowning, just like you were. I can see it in the mirror. I'm doing 2 jobs, barely keeping my head above water, and I don't know what to do." I pulled out a notebook, a fresh one, handed it to her. "Start here. Write down every dollar you make, every dollar you spend. Face it head on. That's it? That's the beginning. Then we talk about insurance, about emergency funds, about making a plan." Dorothy started crying. "Why are you helping me?" "Because someone helped me. Michelle, the insurance broker. Sandra from work. This is how we survive, Dorothy. We help each other." Over the next 6 months, Dorothy and I met every week, went over her budget, helped her sign up for Marketplace health insurance, set up a small emergency fund, cut her cable bill. Small changes, big impact. She's still struggling, but she's not drowning anymore. And helping her helped me remember why all this mattered. I don't usually speak up in church. I sit in the back, sing the hymns, listen to the sermon. But one Sunday, Pastor Williams asked if anyone wanted to testify. I stood up. My hands were shaking. "I want to talk about money." People looked uncomfortable. We don't talk about money in church. We talk about faith, hope, love, but not money. 3 years ago, I almost lost everything. My marriage, my family, my dignity, because I thought love was enough. I thought working hard was enough. I thought God would provide, and I didn't have to plan. I saw heads nodding, but I learned something. God gave me a brain. He gave me the ability to learn, to plan, to make wise choices, and waiting for a miracle while making stupid decisions isn't faith. It's foolishness. "Amen," someone said from the back. "I'm not saying faith doesn't matter. I'm saying faith without wisdom is like a car without gas. It looks good, but it won't take you anywhere." I told them about the budget, the insurance, the emergency fund, the slow, painful climb out of poverty. If you're struggling, you're not alone. If you're drowning, there is a way out. But it's not a lottery ticket. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's discipline, planning, making hard choices every single day. After the service, 7 people asked to talk to me. 7 people drowning in the same water I'd almost drowned in. I gave them each a notebook. A year after Marcus's heart attack, he had chest pains again. We were both terrified, rushed to the ER. They ran tests, did an EKG, checked his blood pressure, false alarm, just anxiety this time, not another heart attack. But the ER visit still costs money, even with insurance, $450 out of pocket. 3 years ago, that $450 would have destroyed us, would have gone on a credit card, would have spiraled into debt. This time, we took it out of our emergency fund. Painful, but not devastating. We rebuild the fund over the next 2 months. This is what financial stability looks like. Not having unlimited money, having enough of a cushion that emergencies don't become disasters. One night, after we'd been stable for about 2.5 years, Marcus said something I'll never forget. I was going to leave you permanently." "What?" "That night I packed my bag. I wasn't planning to come back. I thought it would be better for you if I just disappeared. One less mouth to feed. One less failure to watch." I couldn't speak. But Jerome talked me out of it. He said, "You think running away makes you a man? Being a man means staying when it's hard. It means admitting you need help. It means letting your wife be strong when you're weak." Marcus's voice broke. "I almost gave up on us, on you, on everything, because I was too proud to admit I was scared." "Marcus, no, let me finish. You saved us, Denise. Not because you made more money or worked harder. You saved us because you refused to give up. You made a plan when I wanted to quit. You kept fighting when I was ready to surrender." He took my hand. "I'm sorry it took me so long to see that strength isn't about never being afraid. It's about being afraid and doing it anyway." Lisa called me on a Tuesday. "Mom, you need to come over." "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. Just come." I drove to her apartment, worried the whole way. She opened the door, smiling, pulled me into her living room. On the coffee table was a notebook, just like mine. But this one had Jasmine's handwriting in it. Jasmine started her own budget. She gets $20 a month's allowance. She's saving half, spending responsibly, tracking everything. I picked up the notebook, flipped through the pages. Jasmine had written at the top, "My money goals." Under it, "Save for a bicycle." "Help mom with groceries." "Never be broke like grandma was." I read that last line 3 times. She doesn't understand that never be broke isn't the same as never be poor, Lisa said. She thinks you were broken because you didn't know better. She's 12. She'll learn the difference. But she's learning, Mom. Because of you. She's learning young what took you 58 years to figure out. And that's when I realized this was never just about surviving. It was about breaking a cycle, creating a different future. My mama didn't teach me about budgets because she didn't know. Her mama didn't teach her. But I taught Liza. Lisa's teaching Jasmine. Maybe Jasmine will teach her kids young. Maybe they'll never know what it's like to cry over unpaid bills because they learned early. Maybe that's the real victory. If I could go back and talk to my younger self, here's what I'd say. Don't be afraid of insurance. I know it feels like you're planning for disaster. You are. Because disasters happen. And insurance is the difference between a disaster and a catastrophe. Don't be ashamed of budgeting. Rich people budget. They just call it wealth management. Same thing. Know where your money goes. Don't confuse being broke with being stupid. You're not stupid. You're working with what you have. But you can work smarter. Don't believe in shortcuts. There aren't any. Anyone selling you easy money is selling you a trap. Don't sacrifice your health for your wealth. Your body is the vehicle that earns money. If it breaks down, everything else falls apart. And most importantly, don't try to do it alone. Find your people. Find your Michelle. Find your Sandra. Find someone who's been through it and survived. Let me be real with you about what our life looks like now. We're not rich. We're not even middle class, technically. Marcus makes $16 an hour at the warehouse. That's about $2,173 a month. I make $21 an hour at the facility now. Got a raise after 5 years. That's about $3,640 a month gross. Together, before taxes, we make about $6,413 a month. After taxes, insurance, and other deductions, we take home about $4,900. Our rent is still $1,450. Utilities still about $320. Car payment is still $255. But we have insurance now. Health insurance, $240 a month, covers both of us. Dental, $65 a month. Life insurance, both of us. $85 a month total. Disability insurance, $60 a month. Renter's insurance, $15 a month. Marcus's business insurance, $20 a month. That's $485 a month just on insurance. Is it worth it? Every single penny. Because we're not one emergency away from disaster anymore. We have a $3,000 emergency fund. It took us 3 years to build it. We put $200 a month into savings now. Not much, but it's something. We're not rich, but we're stable. And stability is its own kind of wealth. I need to talk about credit cards because they almost destroyed us. At our worst, we had $8,700 in credit card debt spread across 3 cards. Minimum payments were eating us alive. $230 a month just in minimums. Most of that is going to interest. At 22% interest, we were paying $160 a month just in interest, meaning only $75 of our $235 payment was actually reducing the debt. It would have taken us 15 years to pay off at that rate. We made a plan, paid off the smallest card first while making minimums on the others, then took that payment and added it to the next card. Debt snowball method. Dave Ramsey style. It took us 2 years and 4 months to pay off all 3 cards. Now we have 1 card. We pay it off every single month. Use it for gas and groceries, pay it off immediately, never again. Never again will we let credit card debt own us. Michelle asked us one day, "What's your retirement plan?" Marcus and I looked at each other. "Social Security?" I said, like a question. She pulled up a calculator. "Denise, at your current earnings, your Social Security will be about $1,600 a month when you retire. Marcus, yours will be about $1,400. Together, that's $3,000 a month." That's not enough. No, it's not. Your rent alone is $1,450. You'll need additional retirement savings. We started small. $50 a month into a Roth IRA. It's not much, but it's something. In 20 years, with compound interest, that $50 a month becomes about $23,000. Not enough to retire on, but better than nothing. The lesson: start somewhere. Start small if you have to, but start. Generational wealth sounds like something for rich people, but it's not. Generational wealth is teaching your kids how to be smart with money. It's having life insurance, so if something happens to you, they're not drowning. It's showing them how to budget, how to save, how to think long-term. It's breaking the cycle of poverty one choice at a time. I won't leave Lisa a fortune, but I'll leave her knowledge, skills, wisdom earned through pain. That's generational wealth, too. I don't want you to think insurance is a magic solution to everything. Insurance protected us when Marcus had a heart attack, but it didn't fix our relationship problems. That took communication, counseling, and work. Insurance covered my back injury, but it didn't make the pain go away. That took physical therapy, lifestyle changes, and learning to ask for help. Insurance helped with medical bills, but it didn't fix poverty. That took better jobs, education, and sacrifice. Insurance is a tool, a crucial tool, but it's not the whole toolbox. You still need love, communication, hope, faith, hard work, wisdom. Insurance just makes sure that when disaster strikes, you have a fighting chance. My husband is different now, not worse, not better, different. He's quieter, more thoughtful, less proud in the bad way, humbler in the good way. He listens more, talks less. I appreciate it more. He still fixes things for neighbors, still makes his $300 to $500 a month, still has business cards with his name on them. But now, when he makes money, he smiles. Not because of the amount, but because he's contributing. The heart attack scared him, changed him. He quit smoking. I started walking every evening, takes his blood pressure medication faithfully. "I want to be here to see the grandkids graduate," he told me once. That's the Marcus I married, the one who thinks about the future, the one who fights for his family. Money didn't break him. It just revealed the cracks that were already there. And now we're stronger at the broken places. I woke up at 6 a.m. now, not because I have to work a double shift, but because I choose to. I make coffee. Real coffee, not the instant kind. Small luxury. Marcus is usually already up, reading the newspaper on his phone. "Morning, baby." Morning. Simple. Quiet. Peaceful. We have breakfast together. Usually eggs and toast, sometimes oatmeal. We don't talk about bills during breakfast. We made that rule. Morning time is for us, not for stress. I check the budget notebook once a week now, not every day, because I'm not afraid of it anymore. This is what stability feels like. Not excitement. Just steady, reliable, boring peace. And boring peace is a blessing. Jasmine came over last Saturday. She's 14 now. Grandma, I saved $500. $500? Baby, how? Allowance. Birthday money. I babysat Mrs. Peterson's kids 3 times. I saved everything. She pulled out her notebook, showed me her tracking. Every dollar accounted for, every expense noted. What are you saving for? College. Mom said college is expensive. I want to help pay for it. I'm 14 years old and she's thinking about college. I hugged her so tightly. You know what, baby? That's smart. But make sure you're enjoying being a kid too, okay? Grandma, I am enjoying it. Saving money feels good. It feels like I'm in control. In control. At 14, she already knows what took me decades to learn. Lisa bought a car last month. Not a new car. A used Honda Civic with 90,000 miles on it. But she paid cash. Saved for 8 months. Paid $4,500 in cash. No car loan, no interest, no monthly payments. Mom, I did it. I actually did it. We stood in her driveway looking at that 12-year-old Honda like it was a Mercedes. Because in a way, it was. It represented discipline, planning, delayed gratification. It represented breaking the cycle. I'm proud of you, baby. You taught me how to do this. You taught me that I could. Dorothy, my neighbor, started teaching other people. She joined a community group at the library, started hosting budget workshops. Denise, we need you to come speak. Speak? About what? About your story. About how you survived. I spoke at the library on Tuesday night. 23 people showed up. I told them about the notebook, the budget, the insurance, the slow climb. Afterward, people wanted to talk. I wanted advice. Wanted hope. How did you keep going when it felt hopeless? I didn't know how to quit. I was too tired to give up, so I just kept putting one foot in front of the other. That's not inspiring. That's just honest. But people need honesty more than they needed inspiring. Marcus has a dream. He wants to open a real repair shop, not just fixing things in our apartment, a real shop with a sign and everything. Is that realistic? I asked. Probably not, but maybe someday. We looked into it, researched costs, equipment, licenses, insurance. It would take about $15,000 to start small. We don't have $15,000, but we started a separate savings fund. Marcus's dream, we call it. We put $25 a month into it. At that rate, it'll take us 50 years to save $15,000. But the point isn't reaching the goal. The point is having hope, having something to work toward. Maybe he'll never open that shop. Maybe we'll use that money for something else. But having a dream keeps you alive in a way that just surviving never will. Remember when I said insurance was worth it? Last month I proved it again. Marcus needed a minor surgery, hernia repair. Not emergency, but necessary. The surgery cost $12,000. Our out-of-pocket maximum with insurance is $3,500 for the year. We'd already spent $1,200 on other medical stuff this year, so we paid $2,300 for the surgery. Not $12,000. $2,300. It still hurt, but it didn't destroy us. And Marcus got the surgery he needed. He's healing, he's healthy. That's what insurance does. It doesn't make life free. It makes life manageable. 38 years of marriage. We went back to Pascal's. Same table if we could get it. Ordered the same meal we had 2 years earlier. Fried chicken, collard greens, mac and cheese, cornbread, peach cobbler. Marcus raised his sweet tea. To surviving. To more than surviving, I corrected. To living. We clinked our glasses together. I love you, Denise. I'm sorry for the times I didn't show it. Sorry for the times I made you carry everything alone. I love you too. And I'm sorry for the times I was too proud to ask for help. We ate slowly, savored every bite. This meal was different from the one 2 years ago. That one was about celebration. This one was about gratitude. The bill came. $68. Marcus reached for his wallet. I stopped him. "Let me. I budgeted for this." He smiled. "You budgeted for our anniversary dinner?" "I budget for everything now." We laughed. Real laughter. That comes from joy, not from hiding pain. Money isn't evil. Poverty is. Money doesn't buy happiness. But lack of money creates misery. Money problems don't destroy relationships, but they revealed the cracks that were already there. You can be broken and still be smart with money. You can be poor and still have a plan. Insurance isn't a luxury. It's protection for people who can't afford to lose everything. Budgeting isn't about restriction. It's about control. It's about choosing where your money goes instead of wondering where it went. Emergency funds aren't for emergencies you expect. They're for the ones you don't. Credit cards are tools, like chainsaws. Useful when used correctly, dangerous when used carelessly. Love isn't enough. I know that sounds harsh, but it's true. Love can't pay bills. Love can't fix a broken budget. Love can't protect you from disaster. But love plus wisdom, that can do anything. Love provides a reason to fight. Wisdom provides the strategy. Marcus and I loved each other through everything. But love without a plan was just slow drowning while holding hands. Once we added wisdom to love, everything changed. Pride almost destroyed us. Marcus's pride made him unable to admit he was scared, made him run away instead of asking for help. My pride made me hide my struggles. It made me work myself sick instead of being vulnerable. Pride tells you that needing help makes you weak. Truth is, refusing help makes you foolish. I had to learn to say, "I don't know." I had to learn to ask questions. I had to learn to admit when I was drowning. That wasn't weakness. That was the strongest thing I ever did. Insurance is planning for disaster without living in fear of it. It's not negative thinking. It's responsible thinking. You don't buy car insurance because you plan to crash. You buy it because crashes happen. Same with health insurance, life insurance, disability insurance. You're not being pessimistic. You're being realistic. And when disaster strikes, not if, when, you'll be grateful you planned. Shame kept me silent for years. Shame made me hide our struggles from family, from friends, from church. Shame told me that struggling with money meant I was failing. But poverty isn't a moral failure. Sometimes it's just circumstance. Sometimes it's bad luck. Sometimes it's a broken system. The shame wasn't mine to carry. What I learned. You can be broke with dignity. You can struggle with grace. You can ask for help with strength. Shame dies when you speak it out loud. Hope without action is just wishful thinking. I hoped we'd be okay. I prayed we'd be okay. I believed we'd be okay. But hope didn't create a budget. Prayers didn't build an emergency fund. Faith didn't sign us up for insurance. Those things required action. Hope gives you the strength to act. But hope alone doesn't change anything. You have to move your feet while you're praying. If you're reading this and you're drowning, listen to me. You're not alone. Millions of people are struggling just like you, hiding it just like you. You're not stupid. The system is hard. Life is expensive. Poverty is gravity. You can survive this. Not easily, not quickly, but you can. Start small. One notebook, one budget, one decision at a time. Get insurance if you possibly can, even basic coverage. Start somewhere. Build an emergency fund, even if it's just $20 a month. Start somewhere. Cut expenses where you can, not where it hurts your dignity, but where it's just waste. Ask for help. Find your Michelle. Find your Sandra. Find someone who's been through it. And most importantly, don't give up. Don't quit. Don't surrender. The night is darkest just before dawn. Keep moving. Dawn is coming. I'm standing in the same kitchen where this story started. Same table, same chairs, different light bulbs. LED ones now save money on electricity. But it's not the same kitchen, because I'm not the same woman. The bills are still here, they'll always be here, that's life. but they don't talk louder than love anymore. Marcus walks in from his evening walk. How was it? Good. Ran into Jerome. He asked about you. Tell him I said hey. Marcus pours himself some water, sits down next to me. What are you thinking about? Everything. How far have we come? How close we came to losing it all. He takes my hand. We didn't lose it. We're still here. We're still here. Simple words, but they mean everything. If I could write a letter to 58-year-old Denise 3 years ago, here's what I'd say. Dear Denise, right now you're scared, exhausted, broken. You think you can't survive this? You're wrong. You're stronger than you know, wiser than you think, more resilient than you believe. The path ahead is hard. You'll cry, you'll doubt. You'll want to quit. Don't. Everything you're about to go through will teach you something you desperately need to know. That notebook you're about to start. It's going to save your family. That insurance you're scared to buy. It's going to protect everything you love. That pride you're about to swallow. It's going to be the best decision you ever make. Marcus will come back. Lisa will be okay. The grandkids will be fine. You will survive this. And on the other hand, you'll be someone new, someone stronger, someone who knows that love plus wisdom equals survival. Keep going, Denise. Keep fighting. Keep hoping. You're going to make it. Love your future self. Now I want to talk to you. Yes, you. The person watching this. Maybe you're struggling with bills right now. Maybe you're one emergency away from disaster. Maybe you're sitting in your car in a parking lot crying, wondering how you're going to make it through. I see you. I was you. And I want you to know you can survive this. Not because you're special, not because you're lucky, but because human beings are resilient. We survive because we don't know how to quit. Your situation might be different from mine. You might have different challenges, different family dynamics, different obstacles. But the principles are the same. Face your reality. Write it down. Make a plan. Protect what matters.